Okay, so what we're going to do now is the second way of casting on, which is after doing a row. First, it gives you just a little bit more to work on. So what we're going to do first is knit a row. Make sure you're working with your working yarn. Remember to make sure you always cast on one extra stitch to what the pattern requires. As per the last video that I did for you, I always knit the first and the last stitch together, as it brings together the rounds a bit, looks better and doesn't have a big gap there that sometimes you can get. So who's liking my bright orange wool? Makes it pretty easy to see, doesn't it? Orange is my favourite colour. And the pointed needles I'm using, double pointed at the moment, is Knit Pros. I like them too, they're very comfortable to use. Okay, nearly finished this row. And there's the one extra stitch, as I explained to you. Right, so I've knitted a whole row. So what it does is it just gives you a little bit more working room. So we're going to do the same as we did before, is turn it around, your working yarn's on your left hand side, and we will slip the stitches onto the needles. Slip your stitches so evenly. I think the pattern, the largest is 68 and I think it's 14, 13, 13, something like that. Can't really remember, but it doesn't, I'm sure you'll remember once we get there. So that's needle 1 on, so we're going to bring needle 2. You can still see that this joint in between those, there's no twist, and you've just got a little bit more room, more substance to work to when you do one extra row. So sorry, not one extra row, do a row before joining them in the rounds. Take off this one. Yep, push it into the middle. Alright, so you want to make sure they're not twisted. See how that happens? And what can happen then is you can join that into a twist, and that would be bad. So we want to make sure that nothing's twisted there, that it joins up, that it come around, no twists. Okay, so turn it around, knit again, just make sure there's no twists, put your needles underneath so they're on top there, make sure there's no twists again, pull this to the end, this one to the end. Right, so now we have our working yarn on the right hand side. Okay, alright, so slip the last stitch on the left hand needle onto your right hand needle. Okay, get your other needle, come under the front of that slipped stitch, and then under the front of the first stitch, and then you've got the 2 stitches on that needle. Knit it and slide it off. Alright, and then what we want to do is then pass that stitch back over. Pull it tight. And there we have it. We have joined neatly into the rounds. Right, so make sure you push that down into the middle. Rotate around. Grab your needles. Make sure your top needle are both on top. And as you can see, we have 2 knits there we're starting with. So in. Yep. Let's give it a bit of a tug. First time. Purl. Knit. Purl. Knit. Purl. Okay, push that into the center so it doesn't fall off the ends. Rotate it around. Make sure that your working needle is on top of the other ones. We've got a purl we're up to. And then a knit. Oops, purl 2. Purl. Remember, push it into the center before turning it around so they don't fall off the needles. Then you continue to knit in the rounds.